they ventured on and very soon came upon some rogue soldiers on horseback who decided they wanted to rob Chongsha and Cord, and they gave chase. Cord and Chongsha fled into a grove of trees, which would be very hard for the horse soldiers to follow. And they weaved in and out of the trees. The horses were having great difficulty keeping up. But then Cord and Chongsha left the grove of trees and they managed to go through an old house where a widow lived. And she had a stone wall surrounding her house, a short wall, perhaps this tall. And Chongsha and Cord climbed over the stone wall. The horse soldiers were in hot pursuit, and the horses jumped over the stone wall. Cord and Chongsha circled around the house and came back to the very same wall, the very same place where they had crossed over before, where the horse soldiers had jumped over. This time, however, a stone was missing. A horse had knocked the stone down as it leapt over the stone wall, and a bag of gold coins was revealed. The old widow had sought to hide her life savings in the form of gold coins in the wall. Now her life savings were exposed. The sun was glimmering on the gold coins. The horses were in hot pursuit of the two martial artists. But Chongsha decided to stop and put the coins back in the bag and the stone on top of the coins to hide it from the horse soldiers. Then they went on and they ended up having to fight with the horse soldiers, and they were able to defeat them. Another challenge successfully engaged upon. And Chongsha and Cord continued on in their very eventful adventures. Very soon they came to a small lake with a crowd of people on the shore. And the crowd of people, perhaps 20, looked like a couple of families. And the center of attention seemed to be a teenage boy. Beautiful boy, handsome beyond compare, but also tyrannical, and was ordering his parents around, his siblings around, his friends and companions around, like an out-of-control tyrant. And the people were miserable. The boy was so beautiful, they put him up on a pedestal, worshiping him, and yet submitting to his very unreasonable and unpleasant tyranny. Chongsha and Cord approached. Chongsha walked right up to the boy. The boy looked at him with an arrogant, supercilious expression, expecting Chongsha to also bend to the tyrannical teenager's whims. But Chongsha just looked, even though he was blind, he looked straight at this teenage terror. And then, what? A backhand across the nose. Blood. The boy had never been treated like that. Was amazed. The family members, the mother were aghast and horrified that somebody could do such a thing unprovoked. But Changsha, without saying a word, walked away. Cord was very confused and angered, and he ran after the blind master and said, breaking his vow of silence, "That's it. I can't take any more. Explain yourself. How could you do that to the boy, that beautiful boy? You broke his nose. It'll be marred, disfigured forever." "You must pay for your crime. Fight me now. I'm not going to be a submissive disciple anymore. You must pay for what you did to that beautiful gift from God." Teenage boy. Changsha remained unperturbed and said, quite accurately, the boy was a tyrant. His beauty, his being so handsome, was in the way of the well-being and harmony of that whole family clan. When I broke his nose, everybody would be relieved of his tyranny. Cord was still a little upset, but somewhat subdued by the explanation. It made some sort of ruthless sense. But he still wanted to question, now that he was talking, still wanted to question the master about his previous actions. The boat, the ferryman, you kicked in his boat, you deprived him of his ability to earn a living. Explain yourself. With great patience, but with great power, Changsha said, "I kicked in the sides of the boat so that the soldiers wouldn't use it to cross over the river and kill and rob the ferryman." Now Cord is beginning to appreciate the master a little bit more, but he still wanted questions answered. The gold coins. You're blind. How did you see them? Why did you stop to take time to hide them? Changsha continued his explanation. The widow's savings were hidden there. I had to cover them up so the horse soldiers would not see them and steal them. But, and now this is where the story gets most interesting, but how could you see the coins? You're blind. How did you know that the rock had been knocked down and exposing the gold coins? How did you see the boy's face, so handsome, to know that his nose needed to be broken? How did you know the horse soldiers were coming? I didn't hear them. I couldn't see them. How did you know that they were going to rob the ferryman? Changsha answered by not answering. The eyes of the sage are like mirrors. People look into them and they see themselves. Changsha did not answer. Cord pressed on. Did you hear them? No. Did you see them? No. Did you sense them in some way? No. And then an epiphany comes upon Cord, and he says, I've got it. You have been through here before.